نزل الأسى.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله، صلوات ربي وسلام عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، فيقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في قرآن الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما جعلنا لبشر من قبلك الخلد أفإن مت فهم الخالدون. كل نفس ذائقة الموت ونبلوكم بالشر والخير فتنة وإلينا ترجعون. صدق الله العظيم. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: احضروا موتاكم ولقنوهم بلا إله إلا الله وبشروهم بالجنة، فإن الحليم من الرجال والنساء يتحيرون عند ذلك المسرع، أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. All praises to Allah, the King, the Master, the Sustainer, the Creator of the heavens and the earth, and we send peace and salutations upon our Master sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Honorable scholars, respected elders, brothers and sisters, it is indeed the inherent desire of each and every human being on the face of this earth to excel on all fronts. Whether male or female, he or she wishes to be the most handsome, the most beautiful, the most intelligent, the most wise. But the dilemma that the world is facing today is the definition of wealth, the definition of wisdom, and the definition of beauty is forever changing. So she was the former Miss World. There's someone today that is more beautiful than her. He used to be the wealthiest man on the globe. Today somebody has surpassed him. If we open the riwayah of Ibn Abi Dunya, there's an amazing narration on the strength of Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He says that أتيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عشر عشرة. That one day I came to the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and there were 10 of us in this gathering. فقام رجل من الأنصار, and one person from the Ansar stood up and he asked the question. What's the question? من أكيس الناس وأحزم الناس. And this is the topic of discussion for today. من أكيس الناس وأحزم الناس. Who is the most learned man and what constitutes wisdom? Who is the most intelligent man and what's the formula and the recipe for intelligence? The Nabi of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, without reservation, without hesitation, said, أكثرهم ذكرا للموت وأكثرهم استعدادا للموت أولئك الأكياس ذهبوا بشرف الدنيا وكرمة الآخرة. The one who remembers death excessively, and with that he does the necessary preparation of death, he is the most learned man walking on the face of Mother Earth. There was a pious man. So this man, he always used to engage himself in the ibadat of Allah. So the people used to ask themselves, but what is wrong with this man? Whenever we see him, he's just using miswak, he's praying. There's never a time when he takes part in worldly matters. So someone came to him and he said, brother, I've got a gift for you. So he took out a stick and he said, I'm gifting you the stick. So he says, if ever you come across someone who is much more foolish than you, then give the stick to that person. So this pious man took the stick and he walked around with the stick for many months. And a few months down the line, he came to realize that he hadn't seen this man that gave him the stick for quite some time. So he inquired regarding this man. Where's this man that gave me the stick? After some time, somebody told him that this man is in the throes of death. He's about to leave this world. So this pious man went to go and visit him. And he said, brother, I heard that you are ill. People are saying that you are not well. I came to come and visit you. What's the matter? He says, brother, I'm about to leave this world. So those pious men ask him, is there anything that you had done to prepare yourself for the next life? In this man says, unfortunately, no. So this pious man takes the stick and he says, and I've never come across any person who is much more foolish than you. And he gives the stick to that person. كفى بالموت واعظا وبالعبادة شغلا وباليقين غنى. Death is a sufficient advisor and reminder. Worshipping Allah is the noblest of actions. Placing your trust and reliance on Allah is the greatest wealth. It's the height of wisdom. It's the symbol of logic and the pinnacle of intelligence. Amr bin As, the conqueror of Egypt, is lying on his deathbed. His son enters to greet him. Father starts crying. Son pacifies the father. He says, oh my father, why are you crying? Many a times I heard Allah's Nabi giving you the glad tidings of Jannah. What did he say? Oh my son, you only know one part of my life. Let me open before you few chapters and eras of my life prior to Islam. وَقَدْ رَأَيْتُنِي وَمَا مِنَ النَّاسِ مِنْ أَحَدٍ أَبْغَضُ إِلَيَّ مِنْ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. There was that stage in my life prior to Islam where I hated the Nabi of Allah the most. I came to the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I said, Uksud yaminak, give me your hand. When Nabi sallallahu gave him his hand, he withdrew his hand. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, what's the reason of this? He says, I'm prepared to accept on condition you give me the assurance of Jannah. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أَنَّ الْإِسْلَامَ يَهْدِمُ مَا كَانَ قَبْلَ. You accept Islam, Allah will pardon your past. He said, that was the golden era of my life. Long story short, he's in the throes of death. He says, oh my son, I'm on my way out of this world. When I close my eyes, إِذَا أَنَا مِتْ, when I die, فَلَا تَصْحَبْنِي لَائِحَا وَلَا يَتْبَعْنِي لَادٍ. When people come to pay their respect, see to them, entertain them, but don't falsely praise your father. See to them, entertain them, but that's about it. And he says, oh my son, when I'm lowered into the qabr, فَامْكُثُوا عِنْدَ قَبْرِ قَدْرَ مَا تُنْحَرْ جُزُورٌ وَيُقْسَمُ لَحْمُهَا. Stand by my grave for the duration that a camel is slaughtered and the meat is distributed, and recite the kalima in abundance. Why, O my son? فَإِنِّي أَسْتَأْنِسُ بِكُمْ مَاذَا أُرَاجِعُ بِهِ رُسُلَ رَبِّي. By your recitation of the kalima, you make it easy for me to climb the subsequent stages of death. He turned himself to one side. The conqueror of Egypt, Amr bin As, he picks up his hand in dua. Allahumma la qawiyyun fa'antasir. Oh may Allah, I am not strong that I'll argue with the angel of death. We'll speak about the angel of death just now. Allahumma innaka amartana fa'asayna wa nahaytana famantahayna wa la yas'una illa afuk. Oh may Allah, you had ordered me to abstain and refrain. I loved with sins and I died with sins. I'm not innocent that I'll have to argue my innocence. He turned himself towards Qibla, he recited the kalima, and that was the end of it. The great giant Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i, whom the world till this day is indebted to the jurisprudence of Imam Shafi'i. Who was Imam Shafi'i? He had memorized the Quran at the age of 7. At the age of 10, he had memorized the Mu'atta of Imam Malik. That's a book of hadith. At the age of 15, Imam Shafi'i became the Grand Mufti. He was given permission to issue fatwa and verdicts on Islam at the age of 15. He's lying on his deathbed. His students entered to greet him. كيف أصبحت يا إمام? Oh Imam Shafi'i, what does it look like? What was the response of Imam Shafi'i? أصبحت من الدنيا راحلا. I'm on my way out of this world. وَلِلْإِخْوَانِ مُفَارِقًا. Very soon I'll have to separate from those around me. وَلِسُوءِ أَعْمَالِ مُلَاقِيًا. And I'll have to put up with my evil actions. وَعَلَى اللَّهِ وَارِدًا. And I'll have to present myself in the court of Allah. لا أدري روحي تسير إلى الجنة فأهنيها أو إلى النار فأعزيها. He says that I don't know whether my soul will make it to Jannah, that I could congratulate my soul. Or whether my soul is destined for the hellfire, that I'll have to console my soul. A man that memorized the Quran at the age of 7, the Mu'atta at the age of 10, becoming the Grand Mufti at the age of 15. In Ramadan, he recited one Quran by day, one Quran by night. He said, I don't know what's going to happen to me. My brothers, where do you and I stand? Where do you and I stand? Umar radiallahu anhu, one day he ascends the pulpit and he's sitting on the mimbar and somebody comes to him and he says, oh Umar, somebody had passed on. Umar radiallahu anhu said, this man has brought me the news of the demise of so and so. Tomorrow another man will be sitting on this very same pulpit and he'll inform you that Umar is gone. He will inform you that Umar is gone. إن الطبيب بطبه ودوائه لا يستطيع دفاع مقدور القضاء. ما للطبيب يموت بالداء الذي قد كان يبرئ مثله فيما مضى. هلك المداوي والمداوى والذي جلب الدواء وباعه ومن اشترى. What did Imam Shafi'i say? إن الطبيب بطبه ودوائه. Verily that doctor with his wealth, with his medication and his expertise, لا يستطيع دفاع مقدور القضاء, cannot prolong the life of one person. ما للطبيب يموت بالداء الذي قد كان يبرئ مثله فيما مضى. What has happened to the doctor who came about with a heart transplant, died with a heart attack? هلك المداوي والمداوى والذي جلب الدواء وباعه ومن اشترى. The doctor has died, the patient has collapsed, and the person who manufactured that medication has equally succumbed to the illness. The hadith we quoted before you is mentioned in Hilya, and you'll find this hadith in many other hadith kitabs. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Uhduru mawtakum." Make it a point to be present whilst people are dying. وَلَقِّنُوهُمْ بِلَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ, and encourage them to recite the kalima. وَبَشِّرُوهُمْ بِالْجَنَّةِ, and give them the glad tidings of absolute entry into the gardens of Jannah. Why? فَإِنَّ الْحَلِيمَ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ وَالنِّسَاءِ يَتَحَيَّرُونَ عِنْدَ ذَلِكَ الْمَسْرَعِ. That moment of death, it is so critical and so crucial that leaves the average man in the throes of death. The devil intensifies his efforts that even the scholars and the learned, even they are left perplexed and even they stagger at that juncture. If only we could understand how big we are and how flimsy we are. Abdullah bin Ahmad, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullahi alayhi son, he says that I was there when my father was dying. He was going through this, what we call sakaratul maut, consciousness then unconscious, conscious then unconscious. So Abdullah narrates the story. He says, as my father developed consciousness, he said, la ba'd, la ba'd. No, not yet, no, not yet. And then he fell unconscious again. So Abdullah rahmatullahi alayhi, he became worried. He says that, why is my father saying, no, not yet, no, not yet? Doesn't he want to die? Is he afraid of death? So he says, I sat there anxiously, waiting for my father to regain consciousness. And after some time, his father regained consciousness and he said, oh my father, why were you saying, no, not yet, no, not yet? Don't you want to die? Are you afraid of death? So Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, what did he say? He said, I did not say no, not yet, no, not yet, because I'm afraid of death and I do not want to die. But rather, I said no, not yet, no, not yet, because Shaitan is standing in front of me and he's biting onto his fingernails and he's saying, oh Ahmad, you have slipped out of my hands. Oh Ahmad, you have slipped out of my hand. And I said, no, not yet, no, not yet. Not until I die is the battle over between you and I. Not until I die is the battle over between you and I. Nonetheless, when we open the verse of Quran in Surah Yasin, under the commentary of this ayah, وَنُفِخَ فِي السُّورِ, when the trumpet will be blown. The entire universe will be obliterated. The entire universe will be destroyed. Allah Ta'ala will summon the angel of death, and Allah Ta'ala will ask him, Man baqiya min khalqi? Then tell me, who is left now? The angel of death will reply, Baqiya Jibreel, Baqiya Israfil, Baqiya Mikael, and Baqiya Abduka Da'if. Ya Allah, 4 chief angels. Allah Ta'ala will order the angel of death, go to Jibreel, faqbid ruhahu, and remove the soul of Jibreel. The angel of death will comply. He will go to Jibreel. فَيَجِدُ جِبْرِيلَ رَاكِعًا سَاجِدًا لِلَّهِ. He will find Jibreel prostrating to the Almighty Allah. The angel of death will tap him that, oh Jibreel, your time has come to go. Your time has come to go. Jibreel will cry to Allah, Allahumma hawwin alayya sakaratul maut. Oh Allah, ease for me the pains of death. What did Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say? You will find a painkiller for every illness, for every pain, illa sam, for the exception of death. You can see a person lying in a hospital and you can say, oh Allah, save me from this illness. You can see a person who meets up with an accident, oh Allah, save me from an accident. But you cannot see the body of a dying man and say, oh Allah, save me from death. Jibreel will cry to Allah. The angel of death will remove his soul. He'll come back to Allah. Allah Ta'ala will ask him, Man baqiya min khalqi? Then tell me who's left now. Baqiya Mikael, Baqiya Israfil, Baqiya Abduka Da'if. Ya Allah, 3 angels. Allah Ta'ala will order the angel of death, go to Mikael and remove the soul of Mikael. The angel of death will comply. He will go to Mikael and he'll remove his soul. He'll come back to Allah. Man baqiya min khalqi? Tell me who is left now. The angel of death will say Israfil. Allah Ta'ala will order the angel of death, go to Israfil and remove his soul. He will go to Israfil and he will remove the soul of Israfil. The angel of death will come back to Allah. Man baqiya min khalqi? Then tell me who is left now. The angel of death will say, Baqiya Abduka Da'if. Ya Allah, it's only me left, your weak servant. It's only me and me alone. Allah Ta'ala will order the angel of death, go and stand between Jannah and Jahannam and remove your own soul. The angel of death will comply. He will stand between Jannah and Jahannam and he'll remove his own soul. لو كان الخلق كلهم أحياء لماتوا من صيحته. If the entire creation from the time of Adam alayhi salam right up till the last baby that will be born was alive, all of them will instantly die at the scream of the angel of death whilst he's removing his own soul. Allah Ta'ala will then announce, أين الملوك? أين أبناء الملوك? We are the kings today, we are the emperors today. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. Your name was not even mentioned yet. You could not even fend for yourself whilst you were in the womb of your mother. Where are the emperors today? Allah Ta'ala will then announce, لمن الملك اليوم? Who does the kingdom belong to today? Allah Ta'ala will then announce, لله الواحد القهار. That everything belongs to Allah. Everything belongs to Allah. Respected friends and elders, my message to you is, if my time and your time had to come this very moment, what legacy would we leave behind? Like Imam Shafi used to say, وَقَدْ مَاتَ قَوْمٌ وَمَا مَاتَتْ مَكَارِمُهُمْ وَعَاشَ قَوْمٌ وَهُمْ فِي النَّاسِ أَمْوَاتُ. Some people have physically died, but their character has kept them going. And some people are physically alive, but their character has killed them before they physically died. Respected friends and elders, leave behind a positive legacy. We ask Allah Ta'ala to grant us ease. We ask Allah Ta'ala to make it easy for us. Those who are ill, we ask Allah Ta'ala to grant them shifa. And those who have passed on, we ask Allah Ta'ala to grant them Jannatul Firdaus. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ.